everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke with Reverend Yutaka Yamada on this day, Thursday, the 15th of April, or the 4th day of March in the 9th year of Chongyalguk. So let's begin, as always, with a bow to our Heavenly Parents and true parents. Chariot, Gambe. Paro. And let's offer our family pledge both in Korean and English. Thank you.
가전맨세 7. 천의국주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심전 문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 7. Our family, the owner of Chongyalguk, pledges through living for the sake of others to perfect the world based on the culture of heart, which is rooted in the original lineage by centering on true love. And I'd like to ask Tony if you could offer the opening prayer for us. Thank you.
Good morning, dear Heavenly Parents. We thank you so much for this brand new morning and this opportunity to attend our Oceania level Hundoke session and all the beautiful, wonderful insights that we have into True Mother's life and into the providence, and also that through this medium that we can get to know each other as a region, and also personally, because we know how important our personal relationships with each other are. And we really welcome you to be here with us, and please be with Reverend Yamada. Please give him the strength that he needs every day to do this on our behalf. And I'm sure you have many things you want to tell each one of us, and you know us intimately. The Bible says you know how many hairs there are on our head, so you know absolutely everything about us, dear Heavenly Parents. And please steer us, please guide us, please support us as we continue to go into a new day. And we really welcome you here. And I pray this in the name of Tony and Keitha Browning of a Blessed Central Family. Arju.
Arju. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. And let's welcome Reverend Yutaka as he shares with us this morning. Okay.
Good morning, our brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining Morning Hundoke today also. Every morning, if we see each other and really see our face and share together, this moment is really happy moment and exciting moment. And also pray together, think our nation, think our region, how a beautiful moment. I really appreciate everyone to come together to have a time today. So today also new day, let's create and make a beautiful day. So yesterday we share about the contents about the early church time during the true parents' holy wedding period from 7 years and also around 1960, 1970. So yesterday especially emphasized about the role of blessed wives. So many blessed wives left their children and went to the mission country as the missionary. So love people, love the country more than own family, more than own children, and love came them more than able them. So this is the condition, and this was the investment, and this is the way our true parents walk through to love Cain more than Abel. And some of you also went the missionary course as the family, as the couple, and through the missionary working time, also proclaim our Heavenly Parents, and also teach and inform and share about the victory of communists and the limitation of communists. Through those foundations, finally, the parents could meet the Gorbachev and Kim Il-sung. So we could see those foundation and investment were there. So today also, let's see our next part about the missionary. My last moment on earth is approaching. The foundation for our breakthrough in the Kremlin and North Korea also includes the selfless work of European members. One day, in the early 1980s, we received a one-page letter from one of them. It concluded with heart-rending words. My last moment on earth is approaching. This is the last greeting I give you here on earth. I will meet you in the spirit world. Please live a long and healthy life. This letter came from one of the European members, and during the missionary work, he was arrested and he was present, and almost he's going to be executed. How much serious and how much their missionary life is severe in the front line. We could see many young people or many missionary also faced those kind of in the life and this environment situation, and some member also went through to this way. This young man was behind the iron curtain in a communist prison, and this was his final letter, written just before his execution. The instant I read it, my body stiffened, as if my blood had turned cold and blue. My tears froze. I couldn't say anything. I felt like the fabled woman Mambusok who died and turned to stone. I just stood there. My husband and I had to quietly, secretly hold such beloved people in our hearts. As the true parents of all people, our path with theirs was perilous and desperate. Unable to talk with anyone about such things, we could only weep inside and proceed with broken hearts. The people who haven't met true parents even once, but they offer their life for the people, offer their life for the world, and offer their life for God and true parents. They are continuously going forward for God, for true parents. And even the last moment in their life in the prison, they are thinking about true parents and also appreciate and also sending a greeting message to true parents. One time true parents say, if he hadn't met the principal, if he had not met the true parents, he wouldn't have those situations happened. Always true parents prayed with tears. We could see true parents' heart when true mother, when true father received those kind of message or letter. Who could he share? Could they share those situations or their heart? Just they keep their heart, they keep those things in their heart and pray as the parents of human beings. In Europe, there are those kind of special providence. And also in Africa, South America, or any place, there is kind of many special providence we could remind. That's why each single moment, maybe we could not hear all the stories, but behind of our providence, actually each person's painful or serious or severe story was there. So always we should not forget that, and also we pray for that, and really remember all investment and sacrifice behind that. For many years in Korea, whenever our members gathered, sooner or later, a lively discussion would take place about our movement strategy. We must turn our eyes to the wider world now. Someone would say. Another would retort, isn't it too early? We don't even have a church building here in Korea. And a third would join the fray. Okay, so we build an attractive building, but if it's only for Korea, will God like it? Every time those discussion was happened, now we don't have enough foundation, but we should go to the pioneering mission now. Better to focus our church building or church foundation. Or another people say, we have to go forward to share our message to the old people, even we don't have anything. What is God's will? What should we do? So those discussion was already happened in Korea early time also. We are also always discussing our limited money, limited fund, limited manpower. What should we do? So we have to see always how was Tripart's decision that moment and how he led the movement and providence. Of course, my husband and I were well aware of the issue and knew that both evangelizing internationally and building a strong church in Korea were important. But we steadfastly chose the world over Korea. And as a result, the appearance of our first churches remained shabby. Up until the 1980s, we could not present to the nation even a single decent church building. Our members might have wished to have a place where they could gather with guests and comfortably hold services, but it was not to be. Small A-frame structures with green roof were all we had. Discussing about development, foundation, and the providence, and Tripart's chose that to go to the world. So 1980 in Korea, even they continuously went to each part of Korea for pioneering, and their foundation is still poor. Not enough food, not enough building and place, but Tripart's already decided to go to the world, to save the world. This is Tripart's that moment, that decision, and go that way. In the public square as well, people ridiculed us, asking why we and our members kept talking about restoring the world when we didn't even have a decent church building. From a humanistic perspective, they had a point, but they did not know the principle. Our church was created for a higher purpose, and we put working for humanity and the world first. The salvation of the world took precedence over our task in Korea. Many people and many opinion. This is also same in the early moment of our movement. Then what is the center of our movement and our center's judgment of the decision making? Mother said, this is the principle, and Father leading all providence, centering on the principle and providence. Looks like if we have a many church or big church, looks like this is the development. But if those foundation, bigger churches and bigger place, comfortable area, even it looks good foundation, but if it does not connect it, if it was not connected with heavenly parents and God's providence, finally those foundation will be disappear. That's why true parents always decided, centered on the higher purpose, to save the world more than our nation. This is always the first priority. That's why we could see the whole providence of true parents. In 1958, our first missionary crossed the sea to Japan, and the next year, a few trusted members pioneered mission in the United States. Given the impoverished state of our Korean church, it was almost unthinkable to start foreign mission in Japan and the United States. But our purpose went beyond being solely a Korean group. To bolster these budding foreign missions, Father Moon undertook a 10-month world tour in 1965. So that moment, even their life was not enough, even no food and no place, but already their parents decided to go forward, going to Japan and going to USA. So those things actually funding or financially, this is really not simple situation to send the people go to the mission country and send the missionary to the mission country. In the financial level is really not simple matter. That's why many people oppose, or many people say their opinion to even to parents. This is too early to go. Even we don't have any food. How? Better focus on our nation. But to parents really think and go forward to Japan, USA, even 10-month world tour, 1965. So I'm not sure you are there in 1965 already, spiritually. Maybe not yet. Not yet, 1965. Maybe some are not born yet. I was not born yet. 1965, that time the Eritrean parents decided to go to the first world tour. So this one is the meaning of the first world tour from True Parents message. Why did I go on a world tour? It was because I had to share my victorious foundation with the world. Since the mission I accomplished is the creation of the victorious standard with Korea in the central position, we must share that standard with everyone in the world. We must regain land only after we have found people. The reason I toured 40 nations was to create holy grounds. Once the standard of restoring the fall was established in Korea, holy grounds could be established throughout the world. I must create 120 holy grounds in 40 countries. So at that moment, the parents decided to go to the world because already he established some level of foundation in Korea, and his heart is always world and all human beings, even there is foundation or not, even ready or not, to the parents or heavenly parents' concern is already all human beings, 7.5 billion people. I'm not sure that time, maybe 3 billion or 4 billion people, but always the parents' concern is God's concern. And God's concern is always the people of the world. That's why in order to share this victorious foundation to the people in the world, three parents decided to go to the world tour. So you could see this photo in the airport, I think this gathering. Core providential mission as the three parents of humankind to guide all humankind to God. Establishing holy ground in every area of the world to allow God's sovereignty in all regions and set a foundation for the restoration of all things. Giving the marriage blessing to good men and women all across the world to establish a foundation for the restoration of humankind. Developed various movements to support unification based in the United States as a central nation for the global mission. So that's why three parents decided to go to the world in order to guide all humankind to God. So this is the photo. He visited and he chose the holy ground in each nation and each place. You can see this photo. This is Washington DC, right? And also some cold area with snow, and also some place he visited.
Would that be,
That's New York,
would that be Tennessee, the
Central
one?
Park, New York.
Ah, this is New York.
Yes.
Yes, this is New York. 40 holy grounds established in 120 countries during the First World Tour. So he visited 40 holy grounds established in 120 countries during the First World Tour. I think this is the opposite, maybe. 120 holy ground in the 40 nation. So anyway, this is First World Tour. So this is the place. I'm not sure your country is there. Not everyone is not from Australia, right? Some is from Europe, some is from Japan. So let's see where did he go. South Korea, Japan, USA, Panama, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Brazil, Portugal, Spain, UK, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Germany, France, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Austria, Italy, Greece, Egypt, Jordan, Israel, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, and India, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, South Korea. So during 10 months' time, 1965, three parents visited around those countries. I think 40 countries he visited, and to make the holy ground. The course included a period where he drove with a few followers to every state in the continental United States to consecrate prayer sites that we call holy ground in each. He met our missionaries and their young members in the United States, Europe, and other countries, and met prominent public figures, including former US President Dwight Eisenhower. On this momentum, the flow of unification missionaries into Europe, the Middle East, and South America began to rise, supporting the organization and coordination of all these missions made conditions arduous, both in the mission field and in Korea, and sometimes Korean members would shake their heads and say things are getting worse. So three parents went through the whole area in the world, USA, and also even opened the way for Europe, Middle East, and South America. So those investment and opening mission, people started come. Of course, in Korean side, it's not easy situation to support always, but because of True Parents investment through world tour, new nation, new area was connected with True Parents Providence. Then the member was witnessed one by one. When we think ourselves, if True Parents did not go to the world level, world tour, world providence, I'm not sure when we could meet, we could connect with our principle and our providence and our True Parents. That's why those visiting, those investment, really True Parents already foresee the future. So those world tour for the countries and establishment in the world level, those things really the important things we could see that. So let's see the next photo. True Parents First World Tour, 55 holy ground established in the 48 contiguous United States. February 14, 1965, first U.S. Holy Ground, Twin Peaks, San Francisco. Have you been this place, somebody? Holy Ground? So that time True Parents visited even all states of USA. I don't know which states, but he really visited the states tour to embrace the United States as a nation in the world. And he established 55 holy ground, established the 48 contiguous United States, and even he met the President Eisenhower, June 25, 1965. So when True Parents sent the missionary into USA, first missionary was Young-un Kim, right? 1958 or 1959. That time he sent the first missionary to the United States. That time there is no membership, no foundation, no place. And how they can meet the president, especially President of the United States, is that easy matter? But already within short period of time, invest and make a connection, the meeting moment with President Eisenhower. So this is really a big investment in the United States. And also the True Parents First World Tour, tours of Latin America, Europe, Middle East, holy grounds established in 5 countries in Latin America, 17 countries in Europe, and 6 countries in the Middle East. So this is beautiful place. Can you recognize which place is which city? Maybe Europe? This is which place?
Jerusalem, one's Jerusalem.
Which one is Jerusalem?
On lower right?
Lower right, this one.
Yeah.
This one is Jerusalem.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe France?
This one is France?
Maybe.
How about this one?
Don't know.
Yeah. So holy ground, if we have a time, if we visit the holy ground tour in the world level, this is really interesting. And there is the excitement. We can remind where True Parents visited. This is the real history and legacy. In Oceania, in each nation is also same. If there is a place where True Parents visited before, we have to make some kind of the tour, footprint tour. Which day, which year, which month True Parents came here and gave the speech, and which place True Parents walked through in the Sydney Bay, and some kind of the Samoa, some conference hall, and Solomon Island place, each hotel, there is the memorial place of True Parents. So or each place is the historical place. Can you imagine in the future our descendants, when they come to your nation, where they want to visit first? Surely they want to visit the place where their parents had come. That's why each nation, each city, not only your memory or not only your heart, we really have to prepare well and really introduce and invite them. This place actually their parents came. In this place, their parents gave those kind of special message. So this kind of preparation, then really we could see and connect, and we can invite all people to let them understand and let them feel that their parents feeling and that providence that moment. This is tour of Asia. So you could see that. Tour of 8 countries in Asia: India, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Hong Kong, Taiwan. So can you recognize? This is easy, right? India, Taj Mahal. Have you been there? This is really beautiful. I don't know this place. I think it looks like this is Vietnam. I visited also this Vietnam place. And this is, I'm not sure, Taiwan maybe, in this place. So anyway, from 1965, finally, their parents decided to go to the world tour. This is the first time to go to the world in each place. So during 10 months time period, their parents visited the nation and established the holy ground. So those holy ground is the condition and the connecting place where God can be stayed. Even there is no houses, even there is no people, but because already holy ground was established, this is directly connected with Korea and directly connected with Heavenly Parent. That's why when two parents start the new providence, always establish the holy ground in each place, each nation, and started this all providence work. That's why please remind again, where is your holy ground in your nation? Do you remember your holy ground in your nation? How often you visit your holy ground? Then go to holy ground and offer the prayer. That place is directly connected to Korea and connecting to Heavenly Parents, and establish the national holy ground, and next establish the all state holy ground, and also establish the all city holy ground. Then all place could have the spiritual center or spiritual foundation centering that place, connect the people, connect also restore the land. So we could see we have to follow the footsteps of our true parents. So today we saw that all providence centering on the missionary work. Some people was facing almost going to die, and even some person was executed and also offered his life. Based on those missionary work, now current our life, spiritual life here, and our spiritual foundation or world foundation is here. We remind again, and we connect our Heavenly Parents and true parents' heart, how much true father's heart was painful, and how much our true mother's heart was painful to hear this story, this report, and see those situations, but continuously going forward to the establishing the providence. So we are really grateful our true parents' investment, all our members' investment, and we will receive all heart and continuously go forward to testify and offer the victory our true parents and Heavenly Parents. So thank you once again for joining this morning Fundoke. Let's have a great day, offer the victory and happiness, and make a beautiful day. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Reverend Yutaka. Thank you as always for sharing with us so many great insights and understanding. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, that's, just thinking about all the different holy sites. Never got to see many holy sites, but there's many countries to go to. I was just reflecting that, when we other religious leaders, like Muhammad, people go to Mecca and Jesus, they go to the Stations of the Cross, but they didn't actually go to many other countries. But Father went everywhere around the world and left his mark. And as Reverend Yutaka said, we should make a history of where Father stayed and spoke in every country, and really make that so precious. Because when I went to Israel, I was quite astounded by the Stations of the Cross, where Jesus walked his last moments, and every place, every station on that cross, they built a church, a memorial, to really respect and show their love to Jesus. And I was thinking, wow, there's so much more we could do as a movement to show our respect and love to our true parents all around the world. So today, I mentioned before that ask some people to give a special sort of testimony, and today I have asked Ian Derbyshire if he could offer that to us. So let's welcome Ian as he shares.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much for this wonderful Hundok, Reverend Yutaka. This is life-giving for us, and I'm sure all the world will start doing it soon. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. I love listening to everybody's comments, actually, and every day you get so many inspirations and so on. Of course, my mind's been going over what I should say, and I was praying desperately that something would come. And actually today's reading, starting off about the heart of going out as missionaries, and then the world thing, for me is very appropriate. When we'd read about, at some point, Reverend Yutaka said, "What were you doing in 1960? You know, and a lot of us weren't even born then, I guess. But it's interesting that in 1960, my parents, now my mum and dad were one of the very few parents who actually joined the church. My dad came to New Zealand to rescue me, and he joined the church over a weekend workshop. And that's it. My parents then became full-time members and worked with the Parents Association and got blessed. And they sort of gave up their house and lived at the farm for a while, and then they came to Australia following me. Anyway, in 1960, my father was a farmer, and he had a very nice farm in the middle of England, and he had cousins who all had farms, and he decided to give his farm to his brother. So he gave this whole 600-acre dairy farm to his brother, and decided to do photography and filmmaking. And the first film he wanted to do was to try and teach people about the world, about agriculture. So they all got on a ship and went to South Africa, and I was 6 years old. And the whole family went to South Africa on the Windsor Castle, and my dad went out to, my uncle was working in a place called Bazutaland, which is now Lesotho. And we went out to Lesotho, and my dad made a film called Farming Close to Heaven. And it was trying to teach people how they could make farming more effective, because in Bazutaland, the soil was being eroded. The Drakensberg Mountains was sort of famous like a desert. And so he was wanting to show them how they could use types of agriculture to be more effective. So, and on that trip, I had acute appendicitis. My appendix broke on the way to South Africa. So I was in hospital for the last few weeks and then rushed to the hospital and took my appendix out in Cape Town. But anyway, it was a bit of a dramatic start to our family. And my dad later went on and did lots of films for, you know, Traveller's Tales for ITV. So he went to Pakistan, he filmed in, you know, Afghanistan, Aden. This is back in 1960. And also down in Aden. So when the British were moving out of the protectorate, he was filming the soldiers there as they came out. And a lot of the people he met died actually during the time he was there. And then he did films on brown bread, the first brown, you know, wholemeal bread. He made films on chiropractics, medicine, and anyway, many things. But what I'm thinking is that we sort of already started touring the world. And then when I met the church in 1977, we actually drove from England all the way across to Nepal. And so we went overland, we went through Turkey and Iran and filmed in all the places in Iran and up through Pakistan, India to into Nepal. And we did a film about the Gurkhas in Nepal, and we walked around Pokhara. There's two cities, Kathmandu and Pokhara, and we were up in the Johnson Trail in Pokhara filming. And then later on we came to Australia and I met the church in New Zealand. So today we're talking about this world expansion. My heart is about Peace Road, and I feel that the Peace Road vision is sort of a practical way of connecting the world, to have a highway, to have a place where, you know, a sort of an arterial system through the world, where there's no visas, where you can travel safely, where we can link all the countries. And this is my sort of, one of my dreams is like to see Peace Road actually happen in my lifetime. And I realize that, you know, that going out into the world is so important to take Father's message. I was in Korea. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Korea as well. Korean Heart. I was asked to go there in '84 for Hyunjanim Sungwa. And so there's 3 people from each country, and I went from England with Tim Reed and someone else. And going to Korea, you know, we had like £10 and we arrived there. And I remember I used all my money to buy a bottle of ginseng, because when I went there, I actually had a really sore throat. I was so sick. And the first thing we did was, it was freezing cold, and we had the sungwa, and then we had a training session, UTS training session. And every night my throat was so bad. Anyway, first thing I did was buy a bottle of ginseng. So I put all my money into a bottle of ginseng. I thought, right, that'll help me. And the very first little church I went to, they said, oh, would you like a drink? And I said, oh, yes, I've got some ginseng. So I gave them my bottle of ginseng. Anyway, she used the whole bottle in a big kettle. And that was it. That was my money gone. And so for the next 4 months, it was quite difficult in Korea, but it was incredible. The heart of Koreans, you know, they welcomed you incredibly, you know. So I just realized this, that when you visit a country, like even when Father was going around touring and visiting countries, when you first visit a country, people really welcome you. You can even get to meet the president, you know. I remember my parents were able to do amazing stuff when they traveled. When they went to a new country, often people would set them up to meet, you know, leaders and top people and so on, because you were like a visiting person. So when I first went to Korea, it was such an amazing welcome. And yet, you know, God always gives you the hardest test. It's like you can't just be there enjoying it. Somehow it's like every day is a challenge, and learning Korean and, you know, all the culture. But the Korean heart, I just, you know, discovered was just so deep. And there was one little experience I had, which I want to share. We were setting up our table outside someone's house on a road to do the signing. So every day we would go out with a Moksanim, and, you know, I was with a Japanese brother. We set up a table and we'd ask people to sign anti-communism. And so we were setting up this table to do our daily signing. And this man came out, And it was, of course, it was in front of his shop, his house. And he was just so angry. And he went up to the Korean brother. It might have even been Professor O, I'm not sure. But anyway, he went up to the Korean brother and he was, you know, like, what are you doing? This is my shop, my business, and, you know, all this sort of stuff. And he was really, you know, like Koreans get very passionate. And then at one point, the Korean looked at us and looked at him and said, oh, Yongguk Saram, I'm from England. And, you know, Ilbon Saram, this is from Japan. And the man looked at us and then stormed off, you know. So I went to the brother and I said, look, maybe we should just move. You know, we can just go across the road or something. He said, no, it's okay, we'll stay here. Anyway, literally a few minutes later, his wife and him came out with a tray and with cups of tea and with cakes and biscuits, and came up to us and bowed and said, oh, I'm sorry, Mian Hamnida, you know, shaking our hands, and gave us tea and drinks and so on. And I just realized, wow, you know, the Korean people have such a, it's like Father says, a deep heart, like a whale, you know. So even though they can be so angry one minute, if they feel they've done wrong, they'll completely be able to digest it and completely become something else. And as an Englishman, I find that very hard. You know, I can hold a grudge for weeks, but Koreans have this incredible heart anyway. So the other thing I'd like to just quickly mention is we did make a video in Sydney of Father's walk. So Seti and stood in front of the camera, and we did a quick tour where Father exactly walks, and the video should be in Sydney. And if anybody wants to do that tour, you can put the little video on your phone, and he walks where Father walked that morning, going down to the Sydney Opera House and then going around the park, explaining exactly what happened. So thank you for the Hundok. All the best for everybody.
Thank you, Ian. Some quite amazing experiences. You know, traveling the world with your parents would be really a wonderful thing to do. It'd be so great for all of us to have that experience, to travel with our parents, especially our true parents. We can get that opportunity. So yes, Greg, go ahead.
I'll just, yeah, thank you so much, Ian, and for your sharing. Amazing. No, just to add something about the 1965 World Tour of True Father. I was based in Korea during 1991 and 92, and we used to go to Hannam-dong and when Father was speaking, and I met Wonpok Chae. And she was, of course, Father's translator, and you saw in some of the photos, she went with True Parents on the 1965 World Tour. And she realized I was from Australia, and we were just talking, and she said, oh, look, I'm really, really sorry. We had plans to go to Australia in 1965 on the World Tour, but as we were about just before then, something very serious came up in Korea. And so we had to abandon our plans and go back to Korea at the time. And so that was like 1990. And of course, at that point, True Parents had never been to Australia at all until 1992. So we were wondering we were wondering when are they going to come, you know? Anyway, that's just a little bit of the background why they didn't come at that time. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Okay, so yes, Doug, go ahead.
In 1965, when True Father blessed the holy ground in Central Park, New York, 1 year later, a musician, I think his name is Gordon Lightfoot, wrote a song, I Guess the Lord is in New York City.
Yes, very good. Thank you. We got time for a couple of more people to make comments. Is that James down there? Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, of course, when I joined the church, Father had never been here, and we were, as Greg said, we were wondering about it quite a bit. But anyway, eventually he did come. And when Father first came and he landed in Cairns, and we lived in Cairns at that time. So pretty much we were the first people he ever saw in Australia. So that's pretty good from our viewpoint. Of course, Reverend Kim was there to greet him, but we were the first Australians, I guess, that he met in Australia. So, and Father came to Australia and he went fishing for 3 days. He went marlin fishing unsuccessfully, but he went there nonetheless. And then from then he went back down. He went down to Sydney, and we followed. And joined. Yes, he went to Sydney, and that's when that big what do you call it? The proclamation that's up in the Peace Embassy at the moment was written there in Sydney. Yeah, that's all. Just a little bit of history there.
And the mother did it. Mother doesn't want to go fishing, and then I ask because I'm a tour guide at the time, and then mother wants to go to rainforest. It climb the train, and we together, and she says that is a rainforest. It's not rainforest. Like it's a famous climb the train, but she not quite. Tropical rainforest is not quite deep enough to Europe or something. That's what she said. It's not rainforest, she says. And let's go to beach. And then we went, okay, beach. And went to Palm Cove beach, and she likes more. North. Yeah, like beach more. I more like it. She said that.
Yeah, because I was the driver then.
Yeah, and then James is the driver. And can you do more softly drive? Because Kuranda is quite wide, kind of winding. And she said, and come down. Because he's very James driving quite.
I wasn't actually.
And anyway, she was tired because True Mother and that team is Europe and in many countries being through. That's why True Mother is so tired. That's why, okay, let's go hotel. I'm tired or something like that. And then I need a rest. That's why we go to Hilton Hotel to, okay, resting. And then after that, we need to eat something. And then okay, I'm looking for rest. Okay, that's restaurant is nice view for beach, and the other side is town. And she says, the mother says, how many Asian this town living there? But at that time, I really don't know what mean is. But actually, in Cairns, a lot of Asian, like Filipino, Taiwan, and a lot of after I met many, Japanese also, a lot of Chinese, and that's lots of Asian living there. That's why at that time I don't know, because 1991, it's quite early. I just 6 months or something. But anyway, that's its memory of true parent. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, everyone, it's time for us to offer our unison prayers. So I'll just share the screen. Okay, let's begin. Arju. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day, and see you tomorrow. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.
See you.
Bye. Thank you, Ian, for your sharing.
Thank you.